Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Last Sunday, a 78-year-old man in Halifax suffered a fall in Point Pleasant Park. His wife, Donna McInnis, explained to us that he waited immobile on the asphalt, exposed to the hazard of traffic passing by, shivering with muscle spasms and in pain from 4 to 6:30 p.m. before an ambulance came to take him away on a stretcher. Despite being less than 4 kilometres from an emergency department, it was discovered when paramedics arrived 2.5 hours later that they had come from Milford in East Hants. Mr. Speaker, why has the Premier allowed our EHS system to deteriorate?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, those are certainly heartbreaking stories, and unfortunately there's a few of them, and there continues to be a few of them. But I want to assure the member and all Nova Scotians that we're working hard to improve the EHS system. That's why we've hired 180 transport drivers, and the number of transports that are happening in the province that no longer require a fully trained paramedic, that number's down by 3/4. So that frees up paramedics to make calls. We know there's a lot of work to do, Mr. Speaker. We'll continue to do that, but those stories are certainly heartbreaking for sure.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party on her first supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But like doctors, we also just need more paramedics. Earlier this year, a representative from the province's paramedics union told media that, quote, our paramedics are some of the most highly skilled and trained in North America, and yet they are some of the lowest paid. It's easy to see why we're bleeding paramedics to other professions and other jurisdictions, and I'll table that. The Minister of Health and Wellness told this House that both recruiting and retaining paramedics is critical to reducing ambulance wait times. My question for the Premier is, can he see that Nova Scotia will continue to lose paramedics to other provinces unless they are adequately compensated and supported by this government?
The Honourable Premier.
Certainly compensation is part of the equation, Mr. Speaker. There are other parts to the equation as well. That's why we've taken a number of steps around the licensing of paramedics to get them working quicker. That's why we've taken some policy changes to make the drop-offs at emergency rooms quicker and more efficient. And the transport system, I can't stress enough what an improvement that has been, and paramedics have reached out to me. And they're not always shy to give their frank feedback, but they're reaching out to me and saying these steps are helping, Mr. Speaker. It will take time. These steps are part of it. Compensation is part of it. There's a lot of parts of the equation, and we're focused on every single part of the equation, Mr. Speaker.
The Leader of the New Democratic Party on her final supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the numbers don't lie. Ambulance response times have gotten longer and longer, despite the direct-to-transfer system instituted this spring. The average offload times are climbing as well. Whatever this government is doing is not working. Mr. Speaker, this government ran on an election promise to fix health care. When will we see the results?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, look, it's very easy to get impatient. There's no question about that. But I ask Nova Scotians to trust the people working in the front lines of healthcare who are bending over backwards to fix a system, to fix the foundations of a system that has been very, very broken. We have to fix those foundations, and then we can build up from there, Mr. Speaker. It will take time. I've always been clear with Nova Scotians on that. I wish it was faster. There's a lot of work to be done, and to say that things that are taking place aren't working is disrespectful to our healthcare professionals who are actually driving that change, Mr. Speaker. I support those healthcare professionals. I know it's easy to get impatient, but there's work to be done, and we're doing it, Mr. Speaker.